As we start every year, start in prayer, a lot to be thankful for. As we pray, I would like to keep in mind any families for which the pandemic has been exceptionally difficult, whether it's the loss of a loved one, loss of job, or maybe just loss of hope. Please raise them up in your prayers today. So let's begin. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Lord our Father, despite the difficult times that we are in, we come to you on this day with a great amount of gratitude. Thank you for the time you have allowed for us to come together as a family. Thank you for allowing this great game of football to serve as a platform to foster great young men. Thank you for the parents and all the members of the McNick family for all the support and sacrifice that has fueled this program. Most importantly, thank you for these student athletes gathered here today. Please continue to watch over them in all that they do as they continue to strive to attain full stature in your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. In the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Well, what a year, huh? Holy mackerel. It was tough, yes. Applause. Let's do that. Very tough, but we made it. And I think soon enough we'll be all better for it, right? I start these awards every year by thanking a bunch of people that have helped in some way during the year. And this year is no different. I'm going to start with you, the parents. Every year, parents sacrifice so much to allow their son to be a part of this program, and more importantly, to come to this school. But I can't help but think that this year the sacrifices were even greater. So thanks for all that you do, and thanks for allowing us to coach your sons. I'll continue with the list of thank yous here. And kind of a disclaimer here. My apologies now if I forget somebody, if I forget to mention, or if something happens along the way. It is not my intent to slight anybody at all. So please bear with me. To my wife Michelle, kids Sam, Max, and Rennie, thanks for sacrificing so much of your time and energy to allow me to do this. To Principal Dave Mahler, A.D. Drew Schmidt for giving me this opportunity to lead this program. I've mentioned the parents, but I cannot forget about the grandparents, the aunts, the uncles, and anyone else that made sacrifices to enable your kids to go to McNick and be a part of this team. To all the volunteers throughout the year, I cannot thank you enough. In particular, I'd like to extend a special thanks to Karen Wieneman and Sharon Tobin for the tireless efforts, not only for the football program, but for everything that you do for McNick. I know you guys didn't do it alone. You had help along the way, but you were there to lead. I knew who to call whenever I needed something, and I truly appreciate it. Special thanks to Kim Carroll and Shelley Arnold for coordinating the team meals. Many thanks to any and all that donated food, helped serve meals. Thanks for doing what you do. Thanks. Yeah. Thanks to Beth Oxshear for these programs. Turned out fantastic. Thank you so much for that. I know you've done more along the way than just these programs, but thank you specifically for that. We were only able to gather a few times this year for the Monday night film sessions, but thanks to David Lynn and the gang for allowing me to come talk shop on Mondays. If you guys haven't been a part of that or haven't come to any of those yet, please try to come. Just if nothing else, come have a drink and a bite to eat, and sharing some lies like some of those old timers do sometimes. David Lynn especially. Tell him I said that too, please. And Dr. Stanfield, Mike McCafferty, Russell Wellington, told Doc one of these days we're not going to need you, and I can't wait for that day. The way the injuries have kind of piled up on us over the years, but they give us excellent care, and they're there when we need them the most. To Rocket Nation, the football volunteers, this operation would cease to exist without your support. We have unbelievable facilities that just keep on getting better. People like you, thank you for your tireless efforts. Chain gang, ticket booth workers, concessions, anyone else that volunteer their time and talent on game day. Barb Gilming and Zeb Bowling filming the games. Allow us coaches and players to get better on a weekly basis. To Christina Walter and Anne Marie Fix, for the thousands, probably tens of thousands, of pictures that you took and made available to our families. Thank you so much for securing those memories. The stat crew, Ken Wallace, Tony Diana, J.P. Winslow, Alex Dimley, anyone else that subbed in during the year. Not always easy, so many thanks for your time and your patience. Father Tom Kryler, Father Tony Stevens, thank you for sharing Mass with us on a weekly basis and helping us grow in our faith through sport. And finally, to the staff, Tony Cole, Jason Fair, Sean Gillette, Paul Romulo, Lamont Mills, Bill Mellbrink, Jeff Mulvey, Todd Nauman, Brad Rice, Steve Rice, Ken Shaper, Rob Lorenzen, Brandon Ray, and Sean Laudeman. Thanks for all the time, effort, and energy that you put in. I'm grateful for your commitment to these young men and to this program. Just realized I don't have my readers on. I got the font big enough, so it's a small win. Small win there. Typically, when we call, what we do, we'll call each grade and have everybody come up. Obviously, things are a little bit different this year. So we'll just stand where we're at. We'll start with the freshmen, kind of move our way up through the seniors, and we'll just ask you guys to stand, and I'll mention something about the group. And then once the group is over, you guys can sit back down. As I mentioned in the email to you guys, we're not handing out the paper stuff, the medals and stuff. We'll get that to you over the next week or so. The superlative awards, most outstanding this or that, will be given out at the end. We'll hand those out to everybody, but the certificates and letters will be handed out later on in the week. Okay. We'll start with the freshmen, move our way through. As I mentioned, freshman members are as follows: Ari Dandridge, Fisk Day, Aiden Garvin, Adam Hendrickson, Matthew Erlinger, Zach Kaiser, Andrew Miller, Will Moran, Kyle Nauman, Ryan Parsons, Jake Reese, Ty Spitzmiller, Jack Tucker, Isaac White, Evan Wickman, and Carson Young. Our freshmen, they will all receive JV letters this year for the situation that we're put in. We're going to up the ante there a little bit and give those guys freshman letters. So your first year of high school probably isn't the easiest thing to do. Under the circumstances that these guys had to start their career, I'm extremely proud of what they were able to accomplish. It appears that they began to build some bonds that will provide a great foundation for the future, not only on the field but off as well. Despite not having the normal acclimation period that we usually do in the spring, these guys really came together. I think we're able to meet in person just 3 times before we came together in July. They stepped into the unknown and really did a fantastic job of learning on the run and taking things as it came. Thank you for being so flexible. I wish we were able to have more standalone games for these guys. I know that you guys made the most of it with the hand that you were dealt. If you take that resiliency along with you for the next 3 years, success will come your way. I think I say this just about every year, but I think it's also worth repeating. Please don't wait. Right? Freshmen sometimes have the tendency to think that they will play forever and fail to realize that time is so fleeting. Don't wake up as a senior and wish you would have done things differently as a young player in the program. Go now. If you haven't given your best, then start now. Don't wait another moment to be the best version of you, because before you know it, you'll be seniors wondering where in the world the time went. You guys could be a special group if you choose to be. Thanks to all the freshmen. Sophomore group: Brady Arnold, JV letter; Chris Oxshear, varsity letter; Andrew Bagley, JV letter; Reed Belmont, JV letter; Ben Bobo, JV letter; Nick Bruns, JV letter; Peter Carroll, JV letter; Adam Carville, JV letter; Michael Cheek, JV letter; Brady Clements, JV letter; Jay Dietz, varsity letter; Jake Forstoff, JV letter; Tyler Haynes, JV letter; Toby Humphreys, varsity letter; Jack Klinker, JV letter. Matthew Mitchell, JV letter. Colin Sandfox, JV letter. Ty Snyder, varsity letter, all GCL, honorable mention. And Carson Stein, JV letter. Similar to the freshmen, our sophomore group showed that they were a very selfless bunch. They made sacrifices so we could play more games and players could get more reps. Many of them worked their tails off as scout players as they prepped the varsity team on a weekly basis, which obviously is a vital cog to the success of the team. We look forward to them crossing the bridge as they become upperclassmen and more experienced players in the program. The potential of this group is as high as we've had in any one class since I've been here. Continue to put in the work, good things will happen. You are not the young pups of the program anymore, and I'm sure in some regard that might be a little nerve-wracking, but I hope that it also gives you the green light to push your chips to the middle and go all in. Congrats to all the sophomores. Juniors. Starting off with Andrew Cox, second year varsity letter. Bobby Diana, second year varsity letter. Brogan Dolan, second year varsity letter. Colin Fix, second year varsity letter, second team all GCL. Wyatt Gear, second year varsity letter, second team all GCL. Isaiah Helfenstein, second year varsity letter. Jackson Klein, JV letter. Harrison Coleman, JV letter. Matthew Lang, JV letter. Matthew Mindrum, JV letter. Hunter Molnar, second year varsity letter. Kyle Moran, JV letter. Will Royce, varsity letter. Gabe Spitzmuller, JV letter. Jack Suttles, third year varsity letter, first team all GCL. Pierce Taylor, third year varsity letter, second team all GCL. Matthew Tucker, second year varsity letter. Joe Walters, second year varsity letter, second team all GCL. Jackson White, varsity letter. Juniors, in my opinion, your junior year is somewhat strange, right? Too old to get away with young mistakes, but not quite old enough to get the same respect labeled as a senior. It's like when you turn 20. Kind of wedged in the middle of no man's land there. But I think our guys have done a fantastic job of navigating. They were willing to be led, but also took it upon themselves to lead when necessary. They have collectively understood what was required of them, allowed themselves to be coached, and did what it needed to do to give our team the best chance to be successful. I'm eager to see how this group will add to the foundation that was created this past season. I am confident that we will continue in the right direction and step right into the role as senior leaders, our junior class. Seniors. Crazy, isn't it? Clay Battlelap, third year varsity letter, first team all GCL, second team all Southwest District. Vinnie Beiser, third year varsity letter. Lucas Beckman, second year varsity letter, second team all GCL. Boyd Bramble, third year varsity letter. Nick Carter, varsity letter. Nick Clark, varsity letter. Caden Conrad, third year, varsity letter, second team, all GCL. Jack Doss, third year, varsity letter, all GCL, honorable mention. Riley Hoff, third year, varsity letter. Cody Johnson, varsity letter. Charlie Camp, varsity letter. Jack Camp, third year, varsity letter, first team, all GCL. Aaron Martin, third year, varsity letter. CJ Mullis, second year, varsity letter. Austin Raymond, fourth year, varsity letter, first team all GCL, second team all city, first team all Southwest District, first team all state. Logan Sanders, varsity letter. Matthew Schutz, varsity letter. Evan Shriver, varsity letter. Will Tobin, third year, varsity letter. second team, all GCL. Ethan Upchurch, second year, varsity letter, first team, all GCL. Hank Bieneman, third year, varsity letter, first team, all GCL. Tyler Walter, varsity letter. Christina, good round of applause. Documented and talked about before, but to see where these guys have come from just a few short years makes me really proud, and I hope that they are proud of what they have accomplished as well. They have left this program in a much better spot than they found it. They've teed it up for the next group to let it rip. They have created an identity. The profile of a McNick football player is clear. You have this group to thank. Simply put, they have reestablished our culture, and our why has never been more evident. Just really proud of each and every one of these kids. Thank you. At this time, coaches will have a few words about each and every senior. A few coaches had to miss tonight due to some COVID-related stuff, so I will be filling in their spots and providing remarks for them. All right, so first up, I'm going to fill in for Coach Brad Rice and Coach Paul Romulo for Caden, Hank, Lucas, Nick, Clark, and Nick Carter. All right, then we'll move to one of my guys. I'm reading as Brad. I'm already exhausted, stepping into his zone. It says, hello everyone, I'm Brad Rice. I had the pleasure of coaching the defensive backs this year, specifically the safeties. Before I get started, I'd like to thank everyone involved in making this a special year. I know the sacrifices everyone had to make this year special, and I'm glad we could make it happen. I have the honor to speak about two seniors that have done a lot for this program, Hank Bieneman and Caden Conrad. If you could draw up the ideal safety tandem, this would be it. They both brought a certain skill set that complemented one another so well, and I think we were able to see that on the field the last 3 years. It was an honor to work with these two each day. Start with Hank, and he has in there Hank with like 6 A's. You know, he always just scream Hank's name, like Hank, for no reason at all. Just scream his name, no matter what. He says, I can still remember the countless times yelling your name like this every day of your freshman year, and really every day of your senior year as well. There was always something I could correct, which probably became very annoying quickly. But I saw early the player you could become. I will never forget the game against CJ your sophomore year. It was the fourth quarter in a relatively close game. This was a play that had me in awe the rest of the game. You can even ask Coach Jitt because that was the only thing I could talk about. We were running a blitz which caused the safety to roll down in coverage. The ball is snapped. You go on to make the best interception I've seen a player, high school player, make in real time. He read it out perfectly, cut underneath a slant, picked it, and returned it for 6. The most of this year, there were multiple plays in which I said, that was the second best play I have ever seen. I've tried my best not to let you know that that was the best play I've ever seen, because we all know we don't need Hank's head to get any bigger than it already is. It says in all seriousness, it was such a pleasure to have this chance to coach you. You're awesome to be around, funny. You are someone who just wants to get better each day. I'm excited to see what your future brings. Whatever path you choose, I know you will be successful. Thank you for letting me coach you the last few years. Hank Bieneman. Caden Conrad. There isn't enough that I can say about Caden. He's not only one of the better players that I've got to coach, but also one of the best leaders. He isn't the most vocal, but he carries his leadership through his actions. There's nothing more evident in that than the role he played this year, both offensively and defensively. For a guy playing receiver, the sophomore and junior scoring touchdowns, and then being flipped to tight end, and a blocking role later in the senior year, you never once had a complaint. There weren't just changes on the offensive side of the ball, but on the defensive side as well. Prior to the altered game cadence switch from free safety to strong safety, the way we defend teams like alter, the spot he was in is easily the most thankless defensive position on the field. It is not only a spot that is magnified if a mistake is made, but it's also one you have to stick your nose in and be physical play after play for the entire game. I know it was a spot he didn't necessarily want to be in, but he put all personal feelings aside and did what was best for the team. During a practice towards the end of the season, I pulled Caden aside to ask him how he felt about all these changes. And all he said was, "Coach, I don't care what position I play, I just want to win." This is something you rarely hear from a player of his caliber. He's a special guy to be around, and is no doubt a major reason why this team had the success they did this year. Kate, I'm excited to watch you dominate the rest of this year in basketball and going forward with the rest of your life. Thank you for letting me be a part of your senior season. I truly enjoyed every day of it. Kate Conrad. Switch gears, it's Coach Romolo's crew here now. I had the pleasure of coaching and mentoring Lucas Beckman and Nick Carter and Nick Clark. First up is Lucas Beckman. It's been my great pleasure to coach and mentor Lucas Beckman. He's been a dedicated, hardworking member of this team. Last year he saw some time as backup tight end, and this year he took over the role as starter. When coaches met during the offseason, we weren't sure what our best personnel group looked like. We weren't sure who the best 11 would be. We hoped Lucas would be one of those 11 guys, and he didn't disappoint. He had a bit of a slow start during camp, but he rose to the occasion and ended up being a really important part of the offense. He finished with about a dozen catches and a touchdown, but his impact on the team went far beyond the stats page. He worked his tail off every Friday night, setting the edge for us. Anytime we got the ball on the perimeter for a big run, it was because Lucas did his job. He was awarded second-team All-GCL in recognition of that effort and energy. He deserves all the credit for that award. He spent time in the weight room, real and virtual, and I could be wrong, but I think he and Matt Schutz might have been the most consistent weight room duos we've had in my decade or so of coaching at McNick. Those two were always together and always getting after it. Lucas also ran track to get faster, invested in learning a new offense this year. Through it all, I don't think I've ever heard him complain. That commitment to doing the work, to pursuing growth, to constant self-improvement is going to pay off big time in his life. He's going to be successful at whatever he puts his mind to. Thank you, Lucas, for being a good player and a good person. I'm proud of you, of your season, of your career as a Rocket. I wish you the best luck at whatever your path holds. Lucas Beckman. Nick Carter. I've had the privilege of not only coaching and mentoring Nick Carter, but also teaching him for the last 4 years. Nick is a great dude. He's one of the most positive people I've ever met. He's quick with a smile and a joke and intends to brighten up a day. I can't remember ever seeing Nick in a bad mood. It's truly incredible, especially given everything that's been through during that time. Nick is a perfect example of why I love football so much. You aren't going to see his name or number in the stats, but he's still one of the most important parts of the team. Nick's story is full of rotten luck and incredible resilience. On his first play of his first game of his sophomore year, Nick blew out his knee. He had surgery, rehabbed like crazy, and managed to get himself ready for his junior season, only to blow out his knee again. While recovering from his second injury, he fell and hurt his other knee, where the surgeon had borrowed some ligament. Recovery from those injuries lasted well into COVID lockdown, and he wasn't able to rehab enough to strap on the pads this season. But that didn't keep him off the field. Nick stayed dedicated to the team because he recognized that football is more than touchdowns and tackles. It's about relationships. Nick values his relationship and takes good care of them. If he continues to do so, which I know he will, he's going to be a great friend, a great husband, a great father, and a great man. He's well on his way. Thanks, Nick, for everything. Sorry your football career turned out the way it did, but I'm glad you stuck it out. It wouldn't have been the same without you. Nick Clark. It's been a blast watching Nick Clark grow up. He's matured on the field this year. He went hard all offseason in every practice. I could tell you that he took football more seriously this year. Got himself in better shape than ever. The kid committed himself to learning a new offense. We could count on Nick to know what he was supposed to do and how he was supposed to do it. Even though he was a starter, he got into the mix on the scout offense to maximize his own reps and help the teammates on the defensive side of the ball get better. That willingness to put in extra work, especially on the scout team, showed unusual commitment and dedication to improvement. This year, his senior year, he ended up being an important part of the offense. He had a couple catches, most games, and averaged over 13 yards per catch. He helped us stretch the defense out and forced them to defend the entire field. He turned himself into a good high school football player. Clarkie has grown off the field as well. I've had the pleasure of teaching Nick in addition to coaching and mentoring him. I can't tell you how impressed I am with the young man that he is. He works hard. He's curious. He follows through on everything that he starts. In the same way that he matured on the football field, he's matured as a person too. Nick's a good dude. He's a good young man. He's going to be a great grown man. Can't wait to see what he's capable of. Thanks for all the hard work, Nick. Now my guy, Ethan Upchurch. One of the emails to the parents I made mention to these kids this year have made me a better father, and that is the truth. When you have 70-plus players in your programs, you have to be able to approach kids differently if you're going to truly reach them. I am not a finished product by any means, but I'm confident that I'm better now than I was when I started. I have learned and I have these kids to thank. One of the most influential players that I have ever had the pleasure of coaching One of the most influential players that I've ever had the pleasure of coaching and mentoring was Ethan Upchurch. He has taught me a ton, and I hope I've done the same for him. In my opinion, Ethan has been sort of painted with a broad brush and stereotype a little bit. I think just because I'm guilty of doing the same thing. You see, my first impression of him probably wasn't the greatest. I judged him before I really knew him. If I recall correctly, I think it went something like this. Who in the hell is this kid looking at me like he wants to beat me up? He better pump the brakes on that look he keeps on giving me. I missed. Ethan is tough. There's no denying that. He's the type of guy you want. He's the type of guy you want on your side in the fight. He is relentless and will always have your back. Ethan is quiet and guarded, but also very thoughtful. He has a huge heart and cares as much as any player that I've ever coached. Ethan is a great friend. He will look out for you and be there when you need him most. I'm so proud of Ethan. He's grown up so much. My prayer for him is to continue to fiercely be you. Don't be afraid to do so. Don't be afraid to throw in a few more smiles too. I know a lot of people think that being thoughtful and caring and showing emotion is weak or soft, but I don't particularly subscribe to all that. You can be tough and care, you can love and show emotions all at the same time, and you are proof of that. Love you, buddy, and I'm extremely grateful to be your coach. Ethan Upchurch. Next up, we'll have Coach Sean Gillette come up. We'll work our way through all the coaches. Get through everybody.
For you, those of you who don't know, I'm Coach Gillette, aka Coach Jit. really want to thank you guys. I'm the defensive coordinator here, and I really want to thank all the parents for, you guys allowing us to do what we do. And so it's very appreciative on our end. You letting us be with your kids and, try to help them mature and become the men they're created to be. I get to talk today about Jack Camp, and I was really excited about this because one of the things I love about Jack is he tells it like it is, right? He's not going to sugarcoat anything. And there are a couple times I had some questions to him, and some people want to give you, what they think you want to hear, things like that. Well, that's not Jack. Jack's going to tell you straight up what you want to hear, or not what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. And it was always great with that. And it was so, it's been so cool watching over the last 3 years how he's matured and become a really crucial part on our defense. And you can, luckily I have some really good coaches, and the secondary is never one that I had to worry about. And it's because of guys like that that just are extremely coachable. And that goes for the entire secondary. But Jack was really special with it. And towards the end of last year, we were walking off the field, and he basically said, "We got you. We got you." And I knew there was just something in his eye. I knew that coming into this year, we were going to be all right, and more specifically, that he was going to be all right. And it started in the off season when he made the decision to not play baseball and really dedicate himself to the weight room. And I remember him being in there and just absolutely crushing it, like just absolutely getting after it, and staying after with Coach Ken as well as with other people, encouraging his teammates. You could tell last year when he was a junior, he was trying extremely hard to lead. And then this year, he just took it over and kept going with it to the point where he was voted a captain. I couldn't have been more happy with that, and the way that you led on the field, as well as in the weight room and off the field and with your teammates. And it was just so great when you can just sit there and throw a guy out there and just say, okay, well, that side, we put him to the best receiver, and he was going to go ahead and just shut that dude down, right? And then you had Mr. Steady Eddie, though, on the other side, who you knew was going to be just fine, and we'll tote it. But to take away that part of the field was just awesome. And it was just so cool as the year went along, just continue to watch you lead and mature and really, take this team over. Voted as a captain, and then, like I say, all your hard work paying off, being first team GCL, all GCL, and well deserved. But it was just so cool for me to watch that maturation process, and I'm super, super excited. It's not going to be the same seeing number 4 out there, right? Small dude think you're going to get over on him. Ain't happening. It ain't happening, right? That's that kid from Unoto, huh? And one of the hardest hits I think I've seen live and in person, right? Took that dude out, right? We're really thankful that I was able to be your coach, and that you bought into everything that we talked about. We talked a lot about togetherness, and I don't know if there was anybody that bought into the togetherness more than you. You're going to be missed this coming year, but I really appreciate everything that you did. It's just not going to be the same. Thanks, Jack.